The year was 1620. The Pilgrims set sail from England on their flagship, the Mayflower, in search of a new land, a place to establish a colony. But it was a perilous couple of months. The Pilgrims had to go through terrible weather and violent sea storms. The dreaded weather rocked and damaged the ship terribly, but not as much as the Pilgrims within the ship. Because of a limited food supply, most of the Pilgrims starved, and the harsh weather made a lot of Pilgrims ill. Many of them died. Because of these terrible tragedies, the Pilgrims made plans to return to England, for they were unable to adapt to the harsh weather and plague that spread aboard the Mayflower. But it was Captain Miles' Standish determination that ultimately made the Pilgrims think again, and they continued their voyage to the New World. Finally, the Pilgrims arrived on land, a land that would ultimately go down in history as Plymouth Rock. The Pilgrims were overjoyed to have arrived in a new world, and they were looking forward to building a colony. But the Pilgrims' troubles were far from over. They were forced to build the colony in the harsh, blistering cold of winter. And just like on the Mayflower, the Pilgrims became very sick, and sicker, and sicker, and sicker, and, you guessed it, sicker. It seemed like all hope was lost for the Pilgrims to adapt to their new life. Until one day, when the Pilgrims were visited by a group of peaceful Indians. Led by the great Squanto and Samoset, the Indians would help the Pilgrims in the progression of their colony as well as the growing of crops. They taught the Pilgrims how to plant maize, bake, and to harvest an onslaught of valuable fruits and vegetables. There were things such as corn, tomatoes, apples, cabbage, carrots, onions, and pizza. Hey, wait a minute, how did that get in there? They also taught the Pilgrims to hunt and to cook turkey. It seemed like everything was going extraordinarily well for Plymouth Colony, and the Pilgrims decided to get together with the Indians to celebrate. And the Pilgrims and Indians got together for a feast, to give thanks, to be grateful, and to eat. And they feast, and they feast, and they feast, 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 feast.
And they'll feast, and they'll feast, and they'll feast, 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 feast.
And for this wondrous occasion, I can't really sum it all up. But I think Linus has said it best.
We thank God for our homes and our food, and our safety in a new land. We thank God for the opportunity to create a new world with freedom and justice.